Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. I know last week we were not on because we were on spring break, and I hate missing these things. I really do love being here on Thursdays and trainings and stuff. So, um, welcome. This is the start of our 8-week training series. And so, what I did, look, we all know that there's a lot going on in the real estate industry right now. I am not going to comment on that because I am solely focused on my business and what we are doing inside of Blueprint. Good morning, John. And so I decided to do this series because I really want agents who have that heart and that passion to help to really understand the a general process of how the short sales work. And so I'm going to be doing a lot over the next 8 weeks. So today's session is going to be about where we look for the leads. So there's a couple different systems that we use, and I've been in this group before and have showed you, but we're going to start essentially from the beginning. So really where to find those leads and the foreclosure numbers in your area. I will touch briefly on what is to come in the 8 weeks. And then I'll also talk about an event that we're having on April 12th. So, hi, Shannon. Okay, so this is what I would like. If you are brand new, my name is Heather Keller. I'm a short sale expert in the Chicagoland area. I absolutely have a passion and love to help homeowners move on to the next chapter of their lives. Okay. I can't do that unless I first start helping you, the agent, which is so important. If you don't know how to handle distress sales and you don't have a team around you to help you, you should not be taking on these deals. So tune in every single Thursday. I have a new training every single week. It is recorded, and so we usually release the recordings a day or so after. So if you could, I am going to look up foreclosure numbers live first, and I'm going to show you the system. We have a paid system that we use inside of my coaching community. And then we have RPR, which a lot of you are probably familiar with. And I'm going to briefly touch on that and why you would use that versus the paid one. And then we'll talk about everything that's to come. All right. So if you could post your state and give me 2 counties that you would be wanting to work in. Okay. Very important because I'm going to pull these numbers live. If you don't want to know the numbers, fine. You don't have to comment, but that's crazy, right? All right. And I am just going to take some notes. Oh, Hillsborough. That's where we were at, John. We just got back from Florida. Okay. So we have Dallas. Hopefully I'll have time to look everyone up. If not, I will give you my email and I will have my team look it up and send you it. Oh yeah, Shannon, that's a big one. So if you've been on these Zooms with me before, I'm pretty much a nerd when it comes to data and stuff. And so we do keep a very close eye on a lot of these counties. Oh yes, Palm Beach, that's craziness. All right, and then we have Ed. Okay, let's take a look at these. If anyone else wants to comment, great. I will go back in a second. If you're watching live in the group, you can also comment. Let's just make sure we are absolutely live. We are not. Did I not go live? It says live on Facebook. Anyone? Technology sometimes is definitely not my friend. All right, there we are. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So I actually, let's see, we have, hey Charles, how are you? Inside of my coaching community, we have 2 different options. And so a lot of people are like, I am not ready to use a paid option. that is fine. So we direct them to RPR. I'm not sure if a lot of you have used this before. I'm going to I'm just going to briefly show you this one. You can absolutely use it. And I'm going to show you where you can find the different data. But I talk a lot about time. Okay. This is very time consuming, and time equals money, right? So if you have the option of doing a paid leads a month, do it. It's going to save you so much time. You want to be able to use that time to go out and build relationships, to let your community know that you're the distress specialist in your area, okay? But the way that you would find them here is I always go by like counties. And so it's been a while since I've been in the, I don't use this, but there is some that will use it. So like, for example, here's Kane County. So we're not talking about letters or relationships or anything today. We are just going to look up the foreclosure numbers so you know what's going on in your community. And then I'm going to show you how I'm getting the leads. So here's Kane County. So this is my county. Like, look at all these new ones. That's crazy. But that's actually not, that's just new. It could be new foreclosure cases or just new listings. So the way that you would do that is you would put in your county. And then you're going to go, I always like to have single family and condo. That's it. Okay. And then, let's see, I go to filters, and you can find it by going here. Now, inside of our community, just so you know, we market heavily to families that have an auction on their property. The reason why is because they are at the end of the foreclosure process. They believe that there are no other options for them, which is false. There's not that many, but there are still some options. So we market heavily to these families, and that is a weekly thing inside of my community. So if you're wanting to find those, then you would do auction right here, okay, to find those. If you're going to take advantage of a more of like a drip campaign, so inside of our community, we also do an 8-series letter. That 8-series letter is really educating the homeowner as to what is going to happen throughout the foreclosure process for them. Each state is a little bit different. But really the idea is to spread awareness, educate these homeowners. They have no clue what is going on. And so, for example, I got a call yesterday from one of, and I still do everything that all of our community members are doing. They got a call from my auction letter, and they thought they couldn't do anything. They thought that they were going to have to bring the difference to closing if we did a short sale. And so I educated them. They appreciate that. Okay. So if you're going to want to find the auction ones, you would click auction here. Okay. Or NOT. That would be like, well, each state does it a little bit different, okay? It's still an auction, but notice it's a trustee sale. If you're gonna do more of like a drip campaign or the series letters, you would then click short sale, which is pre-foreclosure, okay? Foreclose, we don't want that. We don't want to deal with REOs, okay? So when you click that, update search. So right now, it says 7 properties. Now, I think we don't want them that are active, actually. We do not want to market to any, that's weird. The status, active. We don't want to market to any properties that are on the MLS. So I don't have, there's actually a lot more. I'm not sure why they're not exactly coming up. But this is what you would want to do is find it here. But again, this is where the time consuming part comes. You then have to put all of this in an Excel sheet or a CSV file. Ideally, you could print labels. I do not use this system. but we offer the training and stuff inside of the community because some people don't want to pay for that system. So you can find inside of RPR details on properties that are in foreclosure, either with an auction or without. But it's very, very important that you market it to them separately, okay? It should be done absolutely separately. Let's go back and just take a quick look at this one. Yeah, so here's some. So if you open this up, for example, it is going to show you. So this is probably what we call inside of our community an equity sale. So an equity sale to us is this particular homeowner is in foreclosure. However, the market is nutty, right? And so here in the state of Illinois, they probably have not paid this mortgage in at least a year because it has to go through the court process. So because of that, they may have equity. It was never like this many, many years ago. So see, this one is listed. It probably is not listed as a short sale. Or it probably does not reference foreclosure at all. See, those are equity sales. There are a lot of those right now. You can reach out to these homeowners and help them understand that they can pull their equity out before it goes to foreclosure. I'm getting a ton of these right now. I would say 50% for me are short, 50 are not. But if you go down, so here's all of the information. However, let me just take a step back. If we go back and we do filters for the auction, you can actually find when that auction is, and that's going to be important. So let's just say we click here. All right, so here's this one. If you want to find the exact auction, you would go all the way down to public record history, okay? And you would click distressed and it would bring up information, okay? So if you see, now this said that there was an auction January 4th of this year. However, it says rescheduled. So this system just hasn't quite updated. That happens all of the time, okay? So we also don't want to, we want to make sure that once you find all of this data, you put it in a spreadsheet and separate auction and separate pre-foreclosure, and then you want to look them up on the MLS. How do you find out if it's an equity sale? That is going to be tough. That is not something you can find online. Sorry, not going to happen. Zillow or all these sites might tell you, oh yeah, there's 80,000 in equity, but you don't know what is on the title of the property. So you're really not going to know. You want to market to all families, okay? If it's a short sale, great. Handle the short sale. If it's an equity sale, great. Handle it as an equity sale. But the whole mission and goal here is to help the family, right? If you help them through this situation, it is going to lead to so much more business down the road for you. And that is really the basis of all of this, is to learn how to properly do this so it leads to long-term success for you. The way that you would find out if it's an equity sale are the questions that you need to ask up front, ordering a payoff, pulling title, because if it's FHA and they've done a loan mod, there's going to be a partial claim. That's going to eat up all the equity. So I think the third week in, we start talking about what to discuss with them on a phone call. And we'll go through the courses here shortly. So that's RPR. The system that my community uses is Property Radar. So I have a relationship with Property Radar. We have a dedicated person assigned to our team that you can go in, you can meet with, yada, yada. The reason why I like Property Radar is because it is simple and it takes away a lot of the back and forth that RPR does. But hey, it's a tool we provide. If you want to start with RPR, great. I think you'll realize how time consuming it is and it's not a good use of your time. So I like Property Radar because it allows us, if you see, it allows us to set up separate lists. So we have a list dedicated just for auctions in any area that you're wanting to work, combine them all. And then we have, you'll have a list separate for pre-foreclosures, okay? Right now, I'm solely focusing on the auctions because there are a lot in the counties that I'm working, and I am getting calls every single week, okay? So we want to be able to help those families navigate those final days, give them more time, possibly get them relocation assistance, okay? So the reason why I like Property Radar is because of our relationship with our dedicated specialists there, but also because you can go in and set up 2 separate lists. And then each week you can go in and pull the new data, and there's a certain way to go in and organize all that. So let's take a look at some numbers. So we have Dallas. So this is how you would go in and find the data. That's a great question, Shannon. So Shannon says, are you finding more people trying to keep their homes? I find a lot of people in denial. The denial has come from all of these years of the government and the banks giving them something, more money, forbearances. It is a hot mess. If you don't think something is coming, it is. I've been tracking it. The bankruptcies are at an all-time high. And you really, again, that comes in where they're probably not going to be able to keep the home, Shannon. If they are at the end of the foreclosure process, they probably have already tried a loan mod, they've been denied. What options are there? Maybe a Chapter 13 to then make those payments. But guess what? They're making a debt payment and a house payment in the Chapter 13, and they will realize that it's too much money. And that's where the follow-up and stuff comes in. So out of the four people that just called me within the last couple of weeks from my letters, I am taking on all 4 of them, 100%, okay? One of them is already under contract. It is an equity sale. The second one, her husband just passed away. They haven't made a mortgage payment in like 10 years. I know, that's a whole nother training on the state of Illinois. And I'm meeting her next week. That is a short sale. The third guy, to be honest, that one's up in the air. Only because he did file for bankruptcy with my attorney. But check this out. His wife has no idea that he's in foreclosure. So I said, in order for me to help you, and he would be silly not to, but he has to talk to his wife first. And then the other one, I know, right? I see it all. And then the fourth one, they called me yesterday and they have a court date Monday, and then we're going to follow up and schedule a time. So there's just really a way to go about it. We have really, really great like letters and communication and stuff, and how we get in touch with them. But that's a really great question, Shannon. Okay. Tarrant. So I would pull both of these together, and then I would create separate lists. So we do have step-by-step on all of that, if you're interested in the group. But you would separate and you would make a list just for pre-foreclosure. Excuse me. And then you would make one just for auction. In this particular case, I just want to show whoever's in Dallas and Tarrant how many actual families are in the process. So I'm going to include pre-foreclosure and auction. So there's 717. So what does that number mean exactly? That means, so the state of Texas does their foreclosure process different than Illinois. It moves through a lot quicker. They don't have to go through the courts. That means there's 717 families that either have an NOD or already an auction. This does not include families that maybe are still in some sort of forbearance, they're still out there, or just stop making their payments, maybe are in a chapter or a bankruptcy, you never know. So this number is not 100% accurate because it does not include anyone that is just now struggling or has not received an NOD. Just so you're aware. All right. Oh, Florida. Florida's got some high ones. All right, let's take a look at Hillsborough. See, Hillsborough alone has 1,100 in Pinellas. Okay, so both of those together is 1,677. So Florida has the process is the same as Illinois. It has to go through the courts. So there could be people in Florida right now that have not made a mortgage payment since before the pandemic and all this stuff hit the fan, and they still have not been served papers. So you really, really have to keep that in mind. A lot of people are like, oh, there's no foreclosures out there. I'm not seeing any. Well, guess what? It's because you're not in it, dealing with it every single day. I am. I track these numbers. It is going up. It is crazy, especially in those states where it has to go through the court system. And it's this. I'll show you the numbers in my counties in a minute. I know, right, John? Oh my. I think I would use a different choice of words, but we won't say that on here. Okay, Harris. This is also a big one. Oops, we want to get rid of these, sorry. Oops, Harris. So there's Harris. That's just in Harris County, people. Fort Bend. I think this one's lower, but yeah. So that's 3686 for just those two counties. So I have someone in the community right now. She's not in that area, but she's in Texas. She just listed I know, right? Wow. Wowzers. Holy, that's what these numbers are. But anyways, she just listed a property, was able to get the auction postponed with the bank. And she's in Texas from one of the letters. So that's a crazy number. All right, let's move on. Some more Texas. So not all the numbers are going to be this high. Okay, so there's just 5. All right, well, you could potentially get all 5 of them. And what about any surrounding counties? And so we're going to talk about that in a second. Oops. Okay, so 12 here. So let's talk about that. We really limit the amount of people that come in inside of the counties, inside of our community. So Lamar, and there's no one in those 2 counties. But here's the thing. People always say, well, how do you really work your business as a whole? In Chicagoland, I essentially work in 9 different counties with all of my attorneys that I built relationships with. But I only market to 4 counties because in those other counties, I have members from the coaching community in, and they handle the rest. So you should be marketing to as many counties as you possibly can. I drive up to an hour and a half. So keep that in mind as you're planning, down the road and you want to secure your business with listings. Go up to an hour and a half. Why? Because you should only be going to that property one time. We'll teach you that. But also, you do not have to be an expert in that area. You have to be an expert or specialist on how their bank processes the short sale, because it is different for every single one, or the end investor. Okay. If it's FHA, it's going to be different than a Fannie Mae. If it's private, it's going to be different. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at Broward County. This is, these numbers are really, really high. And was there another one? I don't know if Brayer, is that? Yeah, no, I think that was just the one. Okay, so 32.59. So far, Harrison Fort Bend was the highest, but I think Florida is number 3 right now on the foreclosure rates. Usually Florida and Illinois are quite up there. I think Oklahoma is in the top 15. All right, am I spelling that wrong? There we go. Oops, I forgot to get rid of these. If there's anyone else that logged in late and you want to know your numbers, please post in the chat your state and your county, and I can look them up. So 140 in Oklahoma. Again, I would try to target more than just 2 counties, but I always just, for the sake of time, look up 2 counties. So depending on your area, some of these are going to be really high. Some of them are not, but there's always going to be enough business to go around. Southern California, Diana, can you please give me a county? We really work off of counties here. Is it? Sex, okay. Middle. So 428 in just that one county in New Jersey. So just so you know, New Jersey, I think New Jersey is number 1 or 2 right now. Those numbers are going up. Okay, so there's Middlesex. LA County. LA is absolutely crazy with numbers. That's just LA County alone, 3280. Richmond County. Hey Lisa, how are you? $450 there. So if you're just logging in, this number is just families that have either a Liz pendants or notice of default, depending on your state. This does not include anyone that is struggling now or maybe still in forbearance or whatever the reason. There's still a lot going on out there. All right, so let's look at Renee. $276 there. Okay, so those are the numbers. So really for part 1 is you have to figure out where you're going to find the leads. You can't just go in and expect to do all of this overnight. There is a process. I really stress to anyone that wants to be in this niche to do it the right way. Give yourself some time to get everything set up. Because if you're doing it the right way, like I did 17 years ago, I am still doing the same thing. Even during the pandemic, even during the slow times, I've always made well over 6 figures, but I did it the right way up front. It has led to other business. I kept in touch with my clients, not the crazy ones. I had one on the run for murder, but majority of them I do keep in touch with, okay? So the first part is to figure out where you want to get your leads from. Some people get their leads from a title company. Great. This is just a tool that we provide. You do not have to use it. If you have a county, so all these counties I just looked up, do some research of the recorder of deeds. They may provide you with auction dates already. If so, boom, just use them. So there's a lot of research that you would want to do up front to figure out where you want to get the leads. I have done a lot of trial and error over the years. I found that Property Radar was the best. I've tried all of them. I believe in simple, and I like this because it's a simple system. It's easy to separate the list. It is easy to organize. So the first step again is, okay, now you know your foreclosure numbers. Let's figure out where you're going to get the leads, okay? Any questions? Just going to go to the group and see if there's anyone live asking. Are there any questions about the foreclosure numbers, about the property radar, RPR? Would love to answer any of those. Otherwise, while you're thinking of those questions, I'm going to tell you what's to come over the next 8 weeks. Okay. So next week, we are going to talk about how you can actually stand out in your market area as a distressed specialist. I know a lot of people right now are wanting to take their buyer business and move it over to listings. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. And then week 3 is really how to handle the distressed sales, kind of what to say, questions to ask to kind of get an idea if it's equity or short. Excuse me. Must do's before and during your listing appointment. That'll be week 4. Week 5 is, all right, you have that distressed offer. Okay, distressed again could either be short or equity. So what happens with each category and really how do you go about it from there? And then we'll talk the actual short sale process, okay? And then week 7, more than likely, it'll be like explaining the approval letter, what to look for. And then number 8, which will be towards the end of May, which is crazy, some things that you're going to need to do up front before you actually go to close. And there's a lot of confusion when it comes to that. So it's really important because distressed sales in general, they're difficult to get closed. And so I have a lot of tips and tricks that I can talk to you about when it comes to that. So that's what we have on the calendar for the next few weeks. I will release the official name of the training as well as what we're going to cover, usually about 24 hours prior to us going live. Also, if you haven't already, we have an event coming up. So typically I am just live in this group on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Central. In the coaching community, I'm live every single day, Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, I take the time off to prep for the upcoming week or whatever. But on April 12th, I am going to do a private presentation. It is not going to go live in the group. It is free to come. Really, it's going to talk about how can you secure your current real estate business with the shift of this upcoming market, as well as the changes with NAR and all that, okay? So I want to educate you. I want you to explore the option of a distressed business. It is well worth it. It is rewarding. And there's no competition, really, especially if you're doing it the right way. So anyways, I'm going to provide a link to that. It is April 12th. I know it's a ways out. I'm a planner. So there's the link. Schedule that. We'll send reminders. It is a limited space just because my Zoom and the Calendly, it only holds a certain amount. So after we get to that limit, we'll just have to wait and see. Right now we're not. I just launched it. So go ahead and schedule that. That is going to be April 12th. We will still be live here in the group on April 11th, just so all of you know. But we will have that special training privately, not in the group, on April 12th. So I know a lot of people just joined. We will release the replay on this probably tomorrow. But this was part 1. We really took a look at the foreclosure numbers in your area. I think a lot of people were surprised by that, which is typical right now because a lot of people feel like there's not a ton of foreclosures in their area, which I believe that's false. And then really, where are you going to find those leads? And so I gave a couple of different systems. If you are interested in exploring Property Radar, please send me an email and I can give you a link to have a free trial period and take a further look at that. Otherwise, do not forget to register for Secure Your Real Estate Business with Distressed Listings, which is April 12th. And be on the lookout next week for some new exciting things and part 2 of our 8-part series. If there's any questions, I'll stay around for a little bit and answer anything that you all need. Otherwise, thanks for joining, and I will see you in 1 week. You're welcome, John. Yes. So I do a live training inside of this group every single Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. I do a training in my coaching community right before this. So sometimes I'm a couple minutes behind, but every week on Thursday, we are live here. Last week we weren't because I was on spring break. You're very welcome. So make sure you're getting my emails. We post a lot in the group, but then we also link that to emails. So if you search for Heather J. Keller or Blueprint in your email, mark it as not spam. That would be helpful. So that way you're seeing everything. You're welcome, Shannon.
Just a quick question. You said email you for the property that website that you were using, or just post our email address there for you in the chat? Which one?
No, send me an email because my team has access to that. If you are interested in exploring Property Radar, I have a special link that you can use. So you can email me there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Charles, I know. So Charles is in my area and he's essentially on a wait list. I hate when I have to put people on a wait list. But yeah, right now, I mean, we may open something up, Charles, so I would still attend if you can. But here's the link again to schedule the April 12th special training. That's a Friday, and it's going to be at 10 a.m. Central. So if you schedule with that link, we'll send you reminders a couple days prior. All right. Any other questions? Booking setting? Not sure what you mean, Diana. Just click on the link and it should take you to my Calendly account. Anyone else have trouble with the link? It looks like we've gotten some people registering, so I don't think there's an issue. Diane, I'm not sure. I can't get access to anything. Charles, I message you all the time on Facebook, but it is to your realtor account. So you got to check the realtor private message. If you have a personal one that you want to join the group in, then do that and I can message you there. But I send messages all the time and it does not look like you're seeing them. So you got to check your messages for your realtor account. Diane? Yeah, I'm not sure why. I mean, let me send it to you through Facebook real quick. Try that. Otherwise, there are going to be some emails coming out. So I'm not sure why there's an issue. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of people registering.
Heather, what was that link for? I'm sorry.
Okay, so the link that I'm providing is a special training that. So part 1 of our 8-part training series. And so I really wanted to implement that 8 parts because I do want to get agents excited about the niche of distressed sales. So that is going to be happening for the next 8 weeks. On top of that, I'm doing a private training, not inside of this group, April 12th, to really show you how you can secure your real estate business long-term with distressed listings. So if you're interested in attending that, it's probably going to be about an hour, depending on questions. I always have a lot of questions. I love questions. And so if you want to do that, that's what that link is for. Do you need the link again, Shannon, or you got it? It is going to be at 10 a.m. Central Time. And it does say that. It should change to your time zone once you click on it. All right. I am going to log off now. If there's anything else, you have my email. You can also message me on Facebook. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing everyone next week for part number 2. And have a blessed Easter weekend. Bye.